Today's game features Donald Byrne playing as white against Robert James Fischer as black. White plays nf3. A flexible move, committing no central pawns. Good against young'uns and a favorite of the great Kramnik according to Khalifman. Black plays nf6. Equally flexible in response. White plays c4, establishing some central control and preparing. nc3. Black plays g6. Bobby was a lover of placing bishops on long diagonals, especially in his youth. White plays nc3, establishing control of the light squares, d5 and e4, in the center. Black plays bg7, fianchettoing the bishop and getting ready to castle. White plays d4, reverting to a d4 opening. Black plays 0-0, castling. White plays bf4, avoiding the king's Indian defense. Black plays d5. The Gruenfeld defense. This sharp opening allows white a big center and tries to attack it with active pieces. White plays qb3, pressuring d5 and b7. Black plays dxc4, giving up a stake in the center and seeking to gain time attacking the queen after it recaptures on c4. White plays qxc4, recapturing. Black plays c6, advancing the attacked c-pawn and controlling. d5. This is considered a bit passive today. na6, preparing to play. circa 5, is preferred. White plays e4, building the perfect pawn center. Black plays nbd7, developing the knight. White plays road 1, placing the rook in support of the center. This does not feel like the most useful move though. Black plays nb6, hitting the queen. White plays qc5, keeping an overly advanced posture. This move is not a mistake yet, but it is risky and creates the tactical opportunity in 2 moves. Black plays bg4, developing the final minor piece and threatening to double the pawns. White plays bg5, one too many dubious moves. This accomplishes nothing and it places the bishop on a vulnerable square after. Bobby's next brilliant move. Black plays na4. Fischer strikes. This move undermines the knight on c3 which holds e4. A brilliant, most surprising stroke. White plays ca3, retreating the queen while trying to keep an eye on e7. Black plays nxc3, eliminating the defender of the e4 square. White plays bxc3, recapturing. Black plays nxe4. Fischer gives up e7, but he rips open the center. White plays bxe7, faced with total collapse in the center. Byrne tries to win material for his trouble by forking the queen and rook. Black plays qb6, advancing the threatened queen to create more threats. White plays bc4, finally developing the last piece and hoping to castle. Black plays nxc3, clearing the e-file so that re8 might win the bishop on e7. White plays bc5, pulling the bishop off the dangerous e-file and attacking the queen. Has Fischer missed this? Will he lose the c3 knight after retreating the queen? Black plays rfe8+. Fischer first activates the rook and threatens the white king. White plays kf1, the only logical way out of check. Fischer now has a queen and knight hanging. What is to be done? Black plays b6. The second brilliant move. Fischer leaves his queen hanging and threatens the bishop on c4. All the tactics work perfectly for Fischer. White plays bxb6. Byrne accepts the queen. Black plays bxc4+. Fischer snags the bishop with check, but more importantly, he sets up a windmill, a repeating sequence of checks that wins material. White plays kilogram 1, forced. Black plays na2+, dragging the king back into the line of fire. White plays kf1, forced. Black plays nxd4+, snagging a pawn. White plays kilogram 1. Forced. Black plays Knight 2+. Dragging the king back again. White plays kf1. Forced. Black plays nc3+. Attacking the rook on d1. White plays kilogram 1. Forced. Black plays axb6. Fischer picks up the bishop and attacks the queen and the rook on d1. White plays qb4. Trying to save the game by attacking the bishop on b5. Black plays Ra4. A nice move that threatens the queen and defends the valuable bishop on a4. White plays qxb6. Saving the queen and picking up a pawn. Black plays nxd1. Fischer has a rook, 2 bishops, and a pawn 4. The queen and the rook on h1 is completely out of play. The game is over at this point, and I'll save the remaining explanations for the video. Move 25. White pushes the pawn to h3. Black rook captures on a2. White king moves to h2. Black captures on f2. White rook to e1. Black captures on e1, converting the advantage methodically. White brings out the queen to d8, giving check. Black develops the bishop to f8. White knight captures on e1. Now, black bishop to d5. On move 30, white brings the knight to f3. And black develops the knight to e4. White queen to b8. Black pawn to b5. White pawn to h4. Black pushes the pawn to h5. White brings the knight to e5. Black steps the king to g7. White king to g1. Improving piece activity in the endgame. Black bishop to c5. Giving check. On move 35, white steps the king to f1. Black knight to g3. And that's check. White steps the king to e1. Black places the bishop on b4, and that's check. White steps the king to d1. Black develops the bishop to b3, checking the king. White king moves to c1. Black knight to e2. Checking the king. And white king to b1. Black brings the knight to c3, check. We're at move 40. White king moves to c1. Now, black rook to c2. Delivering mate.